Here's what really happened behind the headlines. The headlines hit like a hammer. Iran fired 32 missiles at a US aircraft carrier. Danger, escalation, war vibes, but slow down. Because when you peel back the noise, the real story is far more calculated, colder, and frankly more interesting than the panic made it seem. This wasn't a surprise attack. It wasn't a near-miss war moment. And no US carrier was actually hit. Let's break it down cleanly, fast, and without the drama fluff. The claim spread fast. Social media posts, clipped headlines, dramatic thumbnails. Iran allegedly launched 32 missiles toward a US aircraft carrier operating in the region. On the surface, that sounds like an open act of war. But here's the reality. Those missiles were part of a large-scale Iranian military exercise, not a live combat strike. The launches were conducted in Iranian-controlled waters and airspace. Targets were simulated. The aircraft carrier involved was not a real US vessel, but a mock-up platform designed to resemble one. That distinction changes everything. Iran wanted attention, and it worked. Iran has a long habit of using mock targets in drills, inflatable tanks, fake airfields, and yes, replica aircraft carriers. In this case, the missiles were fired at a full-scale mock carrier built to test strike coordination, guidance systems, and swarm tactics. No US ship was in immediate danger. No American sailors were under fire. The goal wasn't destruction. The goal was messaging. This was theatre. Military theatre with a purpose. Iran wasn't talking to the US Navy directly. It was talking to cameras, analysts, and adversaries watching closely. The message was simple. We can track carriers, we can coordinate mass launches, and we can overwhelm defenses if needed. That's deterrent strategy, not impulse aggression. This kind of signalling is straight out of old playbooks. During World War II, powers constantly staged shows of strength, not always to fight, but to influence decisions before shots were fired. Naval parades, test launches, bomber flyovers. Same idea, modern tools. Iran wanted to remind the world that aircraft carriers, while powerful, are not untouchable. The number wasn't random. 32 missiles suggests saturation tactics. That's the idea of overwhelming defensive systems by launching more threats than can be intercepted at once. It's something studied intensely by modern navies and, well, it's rooted in lessons learned during World War II, when concentrated attacks proved deadlier than single strikes. Iran wasn't claiming perfect accuracy. They were demonstrating volume and coordination, and that's what analysts paid attention to. Quietly, and that tells you everything. There was no emergency maneuvering, no public escalation, no retaliatory deployments. US naval operations continued as normal. That silence wasn't weakness, it was confidence. This exercise didn't change the strategic balance. It just reminded everyone that the balance is tense. Real attacks don't come with press releases. They don't use mock targets. And they don't happen during announced drills. If Iran had fired live missiles at an actual US carrier, the response would have been immediate and unmistakable. History backs this up. In World War II, direct naval attacks triggered instant retaliation because ambiguity vanished the moment steel met steel. Here, ambiguity was the point. Iran wanted fear without consequences. And well, fear travels faster than facts. This incident highlights how modern warfare has shifted. Power isn't just about firing first. It's about shaping perception, controlling narratives, forcing rivals to think twice. Just like in World War II, when bluff, deception and psychological pressure often decided battles before they began. Today's conflicts are fought in headlines as much as in oceans. The missiles weren't the weapon. The message was. No US aircraft carrier was attacked. No missiles hit American forces. No war broke out. What happened was a controlled demonstration designed to look scarier than it was. And that's exactly why it worked. If you understand the difference between signaling and striking, between drills and declarations, you don't get swept away by panic headlines. You see the chessboard, not just the move. That's what we do here on 0 Hour Worldwar2. We cut through the noise, we connect the past to the present, and we explain why power is often loudest when no shots are fired. If this breakdown helped you see the story clearly, hit subscribe, share this with someone who only saw the headline, and stick with us. Because history never repeats itself exactly, but it always rhymes.